Good morning and welcome to the preview for Happy Valley on Wednesday. Not a bad card. There's a small jackpot in the TT, and obviously we'll be playing there. At this stage, haven't sort of located anything else, but we'll have a closer look on Wednesday afternoon. Now that they've implemented the quartets, they bet 6 million in the quartets the other day, so that's a fairly interesting scenario there. And another interesting thing to note is that a fair bit of the investment on each race was in the mystery type format. So um, there might be some value there, but we'll monitor that to see whether we can find any value. We go to race one. We start with the class 5. Actually, it's interesting this midweek meeting. Normally, the opening 2 races would be 2 legs of the TT, 2 class 5s, but they've put them here. So Flying Keeper, it goes all right here at this track. The distance is a bit of a concern. It's probably too short for it, but from barrier 5, if he can hold up somewhere near the lead, he'll probably be in the finish. Highland Dragon, depending on what they do. In the trials, he's gone forward and raced pretty well. In races, he drags it back. Barrier 8 and Mosse, that is definitely no help. So I'd assume they're going to go back. Mega, it's drawn well. Demiro's riding really well. Very aggressive jockey, this guy. He's probably going to cop a few suspensions up here because he wants to win. So good trait for me. I don't mind guys like this. Gracie Tom, China good. Number 11, Vajrav Throne. Now, this thing's been working well for a while. Hasn't put it together on the racetrack. Its last run was a bit better. Now, obviously, barrier 10 and the jock is absolutely no help. But I wouldn't be surprised if this thing's a big price and can fall into a place in a race like this. 6 on top from 3, 7, 5, 1 and 11. A race I don't really like. Race 2. Young Happy, it was strong enough last time. Purton goes on now, so that's a plus. Drawn well. Probably a chance to put 2 together here in a very, very weak race. Good times roll, always threatening in these. Track and distance stats are not that flash, but it's run in better races than this, so Marira's on it. That's probably going to shave its points price-wise. Marble Plus. This has run a couple of good races at the 1600, so barrier 11, no help, but 50 kilos is handy. Of the rest, Dynamic Cross, it was a reasonable bit of track work the other morning. Trialled as well, but the trial was awful, so this hasn't come back yet, but there's not a lot of speed in this race, and it looks the leader, so if it gets along in front and they let it bludge, don't be surprised to see this one kick away at the top of the straight. Might give them something to catch at a price. It's a hard horse to catch, but usually wins at a price. 51 kilos a plus. Fiery Patrol is probably the, if anybody else but Mosse was riding it, I'd say this would probably win the race, but barrier 6 and him, he's murder to catch. He's riding like he did last year. Everything he jumps on sits 3 and 4 wide. I'm not sure how he keeps getting away with this. Just about everybody in Hong Kong, all the scribes, they know. They call him 3 wide Mosse. So that's the risk you're going to take with this horse. But it certainly can win this. And maybe 1 and 4, but it's an awful race. 3 on top from 11, 9, 6, 7, 1, 4. Race 3. I think the Untouchable lad, this looks its race. He's beat a Shartin a few times. That's not his go. Runs all his placings have all been here. Barrier 1, no advantage to this horse. Got absolutely no early speed. Can't take advantage of it. That's the only concern for me, that it will get buried back on the rail somewhere. Douglas White goes on it. Interesting change there. Hard to beat. 7 Flying Ibis. It's got a chance in a race like this. The 4's the Spirit Soaring. If we can get it out of the gates and get it up near the lead, this can give them something to catch. Speedy Gonzalez. or just always threatening to win a race, can't get there at the moment. That's got a chance. 10 Fun Heroes and maybe 3 Horse of Plenty, but not much of a race. 2 on top from 7, 4, 8, 10 and 3. We go to the TT. The opening leg is certainly the toughest of all the legs. I've got 8 horses rated between 9 to 2 and 10 to 1. That's how hard this race is. Most of these have got a heap of convictions. I've finished up with Firestarter on top, probably by virtue of the fact that it's only had 3 starts. And a lot of these others have had a heap of starts and haven't done anything. So it's probably got more upside potential than the others, and being a 3-year-old. Number 1, King Derby. The barrier's not going to help, but it was given a pretty easy trial, so it's fit enough to win. Lovely Boy, again, barrier 9, Mosse, good luck, and it'll be well in the market, so I mean, it can run a place. The 4, Kynam. Now this probably is one of the better chances in the race. Must be included as a winning chance. 8, Creative Union. 3, Tomodachi. This is my Smoky. This meeting last year it led, and they got it late. It's got a couple of kilos less than it carried last year. Barrier 1. Doesn't look like there's too much speed in this race. It looks like it's going to lead. If it gets out a couple of lengths in front, and he can get 1 easy sectional anywhere, he might give him something to catch. 10, 5 look the best of the rest, but probably from a TT point of view, this looks an 8 always leg at this stage. 6 on top from 1, 4, 2, 8, 3, 10 and 5. The middle leg, number 1, One of a Kind. This looks its race. Very unlucky last start. Got knocked over at the start, found all sorts of trouble, and ran on, got beaten the leg. Excuse me. Douglas White goes on it, drops back to class 4. If you go back through all its form, it's been running around in class 3s, much harder races than this. When it hit the purple patch, it was when it was in class 4 and Douglas was riding it. From barrier 3, he jumps it out of the gates. And so if it settles in the front 3, it's going to be very hard to beat. This is the anchor. 6, Twin Turbo from the good draw. Can settle much closer than having to, last couple of runs, when it draws wide, they drag it all the way back to last. Won't be last in this. Oyster, Junju, very well. These can all run a place. Got a couple here that will probably include at a bit of a price. Number 7, Jung Sing, and 12, Panther Run, and maybe the 9, Good Thinker. But at this stage, 1 clearly on top, and the banker. 6 will probably be a ticket with a double banker on 1 set of tickets. And chances to 11, 2, 3, 9, 12, 7, and probably the 4 goes in for the play on the place line. Race 6, Maria holds the key to this, barrier 1 with Ovette. Now, this has run some reasonable races. Its last run, the horses that finished around it have all come out and won, so it's a good form race. Comes back to the Valley, the 1200 seats. From barrier 1, he should be able to settle it up much closer. I think it's the anchor. Disciples 12, they've had their soft win at Sha Tin. It runs good races here, even though the track, when you look at it, track stats 4 and 0, 3 of those it probably should have won. It's finished just behind them. It's drawn reasonably well in barrier 6. Pert and Sticks, 54 kilos. Probably double banker job here. These 2 look terrific chances. On the place line, 2, 4, 11, 6, 8, and probably the 1. The pace in the race is the key. There's a fair bit of it here. Windful Patrol's very quick out of the gates. So's Hawthorn, and they've drawn wide. Swift Shadow's also got a bit of speed. So you've got the 3 drawn wide coming across and probably chop each other up. So I think Ovette and Disciples 12 just going to sit right behind them. And for me, they just look the double banker, and they look like they should run 1, 2. we'll play that way. 9 on top from 10, 2, 4, 11, 6, 8, 1 on the place line. Go to race 7. Good race this. Best race on the night. Classic Jewellery, drawn barrier 2. Runs its best races this track and distance. From here, it's going to posse up right on the speed. He can control the race. If he needs to lead, he can lead. He probably won't have to. Albi Celeste is here. There's Perfect Cheers. There's a bit of speed in the race. I think he's just going to camp second or third and wait. Pleasure Gains will have to go forward. If they go back, probably can't win. It's a terrible draw out there. So if he goes forward and can get it in, it's obviously races really well here. Bullish Boy from barrier 3, Chadwick. This is the other leader. If he wants to lead, he can, but he may hand up to Albi Celeste and take the trail, and that's Classic Jewellery and Bullish Boy. They look the two on the 54.5 kilos. Of the rest, 7 Shade of Dream's an interesting one. It's drawn a marble. If he can get it out of the gates and posse up in the first 4 or 5, much closer than normal for him, it's got a chance. Goes good this track and distance, and I think this is probably the knockout horse. Of the rest, Fun Rider, packing okay, drops into a reasonable race. Perfect Cheers runs well here, but again, you've got the murderous combination of Wide Gate and Mosse, so no idea where he's going to be, but he won't be anywhere near the fence, that's for sure. 11 on top from 10, 4, 7, 2, 5 and 1. And the last race, good race, there's a lot of form in this race. Majestic Anthem just keeps winning. Again, bad draw, and Mosse is going to have to do something pretty special to win from there. I wouldn't want to be taking the shorts about it. Royal Panther finally put it all together and bolted in. This is certainly much harder, but it's got a chance. Electronic Fortune, very consistent horse, just finds it hard that last 50 metres. Looks like it's going to win, and it's probably got a little bit of cat in it, this thing, and gives it away, but it's got a chance. First Sight Love's put 2 together. Hasn't got the luxury of the good draw this time. He's probably going to have to go back to nearly last in this. So it's a bit of a risk. My smoky in the last is number 9, Jazzy Feeling. Now this thing races really well here. He's doing something, never gone to the 1650 before. It was a terrific run last start at the 1400. He's given a 3 or 4 weeks off. His track work's been solid. Finally drawn a marble, can probably settle much closer than normal, and the tempo of the 1650s is probably going to suit it. You won't have to bustle it early. If it runs the mile, it could be a good chance at a price in this, so I wouldn't be dismissing it. Number 7, Enthusiasm, nice trial. This took it to the Valley, beaten 2 lengths in a trial. Could have easily won the trial if he let it go. That's worked well since. This one could be a bit of a smoky. Now it's never been here. It's run at Sha-Tin, but I wouldn't be ruling this one out as a knockout horse in a race like this. As I say, the TT is going to be the main focus, as it always is when there's a jackpot. We will now have a close look at the 2 quartets that they play, race 5 and race 8. Looks like they're going to play them on the 5th race and the last race on each card. If they bet around 5 or 6 million in each of these pools, then that's pretty decent value, and we'll have a good look at that. Other than that, maybe look for a parlay or something. So, but certainly the TT looks the main focus for the evening. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and good luck if you play during the week.